Korean mythology is rife with dangerous creatures and terrifying monsters. With a large and diverse mythology, you can imagine the types of monsters that are told as bedtime stories, and to keep children from straying too far from home. From fiery dogs to dragons to malevolent spirits, this is the top 5 scary monsters from North Korea. Before we begin though, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. And with that, let's jump in. Coming in at number 5 we have Bulgae. Bulgae are the mythical fire dogs hailing from Korean mythology. They are said to be beasts from the kingdom of darkness that always chase the sun and moon, causing eclipses when they bite both the celestial bodies. According to myth from Korea, there were many realms of heaven. One of them, the kingdom of darkness, was called Gamangnara, aka the Dark World. The king of the Dark World got weary with darkness and desired the light of the sun and the moon. So what he did was he sent one of the fiery hounds belonging to the Dark World to chase the sun and bring it to his realm. However, when the Bulgae tried to bite the sun, it was too hot, of course, and it burned the dog's mouth, forcing it to let go. The king got angry and then sent another one to fetch the moon. However, when the dog bit the moon, it was too cold and it had to let go. This happened so many times that it resulted in eclipses, and during eclipses, the dark parts covering the sun and the moon were believed to be the parts bitten and covered by the mouths of the Bulgae. Now, more interesting still, there is actually a nearly extinct breed of dog called Bulgae in South Korea, with the name of the breed referring to its obvious resemblance to the mythical dogs, with its maroon coat and nails, amber nose and amber eyes. Coming in at number 4 are Kumyo, also known as the fox spirit or nine-tailed fox. This is a mythical fox entity originating from Korean mythology. They are often depicted as a familiar spirit possessed of magic powers. These foxes are said to be incredibly mischievous and are known to trick people with the ability to disguise themselves as a beautiful woman. I quote, "The fox spirit is an especially prolific shapeshifter, known variously as the Hulijing in China, the Kitsune in Japan, and the Kumino in Korea. Although the specifics of the tales vary, these fox spirits can usually shapeshift, often taking the form of beautiful young women who attempt to seduce men, whether for mere mischief or to consume their bodies or spirits. In a Tang Dynasty story, foxes are said to become humans by wearing a skull and worshipping the Big Dipper. They would supposedly try on multiple skulls until they found one that fit without falling off." Describing the transformation and other features of the fox, Guaopu stated, I quote, "When a fox is 50 years old, it can transform itself into a woman. When 100 years old, it becomes a beautiful female or a spirit medium or an adult male who has sexual intercourse with women. Such beings are able to know things at more than 1,000 miles distance. They can possess and bewilder them so that they lose their memory and knowledge, and when a fox is 1,000 years old, it ascends to heaven and becomes a celestial fox." Coming in at number 3, Dokkaebi. Dokkaebi are said to be legendary creatures hailing from Korean mythology and folklore. They are also known as Korean goblins. These are nature deities or spirits which are said to possess extraordinary powers and abilities that are used to interact with humans and are used to play tricks on them and at times help them if needed. Legends describe different Dokkaebi as wearing hanbok. This is a traditional Korean dress that is worn during traditional occasions such as festivals, celebrations and ceremonies. It is also stated that most Dokkaebi have the surname Kim. These creatures are different from ghosts, which are referred to as gwisin in Korean, in that they are not formed by the death of a human being, but instead by the possession of an inanimate object, such as old discarded household tools like brooms or objects stained with blood. They are often depicted as fearsome and awe-inspiring, with the most common depiction of them being based on ancient roof tiles with Dokkaebi patterns. The monsters are said to possess magical items, such as the Dokkaebi hat called the Dokkaebi Gamtu, which grants the wearer the ability of invisibility. Dokkaebi are also said to be extremely skilled at wrestling and cannot be beaten unless their right side is exploited. In other tales, they only have one leg, so if one should hook their leg and push them, they would win. It doesn't stop there though. They are also believed to have immense supernatural powers and can bring good harvests, big catches and great fortunes to humans. If they wish, that is. Rituals are often held to appeal to Dokkaebi to bring benefit to humans. Coming in at number 2, Korean Dragon. These legendary monsters are infamous throughout Korean mythology and folklore and are linked to water and agriculture and are known to be benevolent beings that are considered to be the bringers of rain and clouds. Korean dragons are said to reside in rivers, lakes, oceans or even deep mountain ponds. These dragons have been referenced throughout history and even in ancient texts. Some of these texts mention sentient speaking dragons which are capable of understanding emotions such as devotion, kindness and even gratitude. In one legend, a story tells of the great king Munmu Izumu, who on his deathbed wished to become, I quote, Dragon of the East Sea in order to protect Korea. It is said that the Korean dragon in many ways is similar to other East Asian dragons such as the Chinese and Japanese dragons. However, in some cases the Korean dragon is depicted as carrying an orb known as the Yawuji in its claws or mouth. This is the Korean name for the mythical Sintamani. This is often considered to be similar to the Philosopher's Stone. It is said whoever could wield this was blessed with the abilities of omnipotence and creation at will, and that only four-toed dragons were both wise and powerful enough to wield these orbs, as opposed to the lesser three-toed dragons. And finally, coming in at number 1, Imuji. Leading on from our previous number, in Korean mythology is stated that most dragons were originally Imujis, or lesser dragons, which are said to resemble gigantic serpents. Throughout folklore there are various different descriptions of Imujis, as well as how they aspired to become full-fledged dragons, like our previous number. It was thought throughout Korea that an Imuji could become a true dragon if it were to catch a Yawuji which had fallen from heaven. And Yawuji is an ancient dragon spirit. Another explanation states they are hornless creatures resembling dragons who have been cursed and thus were unable to become dragons themselves. Other stories tell of Imuji being proto-dragons, which must survive 1,000 years in order to become a fully fledged dragon. Regardless, they are said to be huge, benevolent, python-like creatures that are said to live in water or caves. However, it is said that spotting one is a sign of good luck. In 2007, a movie was released called D-War, in which two Imuji were seen competing for the possession of a source of power. One was good, one was evil. Ultimately, the evil was conquered. In the movie, it heavily implies that many Imuji exist at the same time, with only a few being designated to become a full dragon. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any monsters that we missed? Leave us your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos, top 5 cursed playgrounds from around the world. Thomas said Lucy is quality crumpet. Thanks, that's a real nice compliment. I appreciate that. Very British. You hit the heart with that one. Daniel Smith Harrod said, I would never play in a dead children's playground unless it was with Lucy and Keegs. Like, I don't know what's more disturbing about this. The fact that you want to play in a dead children's playground, or you called him Keegs. That's really weird. We don't say that here. We don't say Keegs, so. Ew. Jojo Animation said, that's a cute outfit, Lucy, and looks comfortable. Do you think I could get one? Well, I can point you in the right direction. Just go to H&M. Don't remember how much it cost. I got it the other day. EFEF3334 said, and that's why I don't go to playgrounds. I love playgrounds. I love a swing set. If I could swing all day, I would. It's the best feeling. It's like being on a ride. You don't have to pay for it and you don't have to wait in line. Trisha W said, Lucy, I'm not here to thank you for your appearance today, but I do. I want to thank you and Netflix for your Session 9 recommendation. Keep up the good work. The first part of this comment didn't make sense to me, but you're welcome. Session 9 is great, and I'm glad I can point people in that direction. It's a great movie. Terrifying. Yeah. Tiffany Benefield said, I'm about 15 minutes away from the Huntsville, Alabama playground. I'm going to try to go sometime soon. Thank you, Lucy, for reminding me of it. Well, you're welcome, but also I'm sorry that I've reminded you of it. If you see a ghost or you get possessed, that's on you, not me. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. And until next time, see you later. Bulgay. I'm gonna say Bulgay. One of them, the Kingdom of Darkness, was called Gamagnara. Kumia. Guopu. An orb known as the Yawuji. If I say it fast, Yawuji, the Yawuji. Let's just say Yawuji. And Imuji. And if it were to catch it, oh, that word's back.